Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for joining me in today. You've got a little baby, so I do really appreciate your time coming along and telling us your stories. The reason why I will continue to invite mothers and fathers along to talk to me either on Instagram Live or on a recorded chat like this and share their stories is because it's really important that other parents hear the positives, because there are so many negatives out there at the moment, especially with these new maternity reports that have come out. Obviously, a lot of them are focusing on hospital births. So I really wanted to get people to come and have a chat and share their experiences with home births, whether or not they're home births or free births, either, that they're both incredible, right? And obviously, you've kindly come along to share your 2 home birth stories. So we'll get into that in a second. But before we do you want to just introduce yourself and what you do yourself to support families?
Yeah, no worries at all. So I'm Alex, and I'm the face behind Mama Knows Best Birth Preparation as well. So I do hypnobirthing courses, and the reason I sort of started those was after having my babies, because I just realised how much that actually changed everything for me. I don't think I even would have considered a home birth had I not done the hypnobirthing course. So I think, I just realised how birth changing that can be. So I want to do what I can now to support other people, whether that is a home birth or whatever that looks like for them. But just support them. But so I've got 2 babies. I've got a nearly 3-year-old. And then I've got a 5-month-old as well. So busy at the moment, and then trying to do my hypnobirthing alongside. So very, very busy, lots of plates.
Amazing. I love hypnobirthing. I wish it was more known when I had my first daughter 28 years ago. I mean, I don't think anybody was doing it then, or if they were, nobody was talking about it, or perhaps because it was so long ago, there was no way of me finding out about it because there was no Facebook, Instagrams, TikToks, things like that. It's all over those now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But more frequently, when I had my Sophia, well, nine years ago now, she's 9 next week, I know people were doing it, but it wasn't really considered the norm to do something like that. It was quite hippie kind of vibes, and it wasn't the thing that most parents would be aware of, really. But I'm so glad it is now, because I find it incredibly important. The families that I've supported as a doula that have done hypnobirthing, I absolutely see the difference in their birth experience and obviously their preparation. When they're doing hypnobirthing, it makes a massive difference with their birth prepping. But their whole mindset going into labour is just completely different. So I'm really pleased that that's something you do and you offer to your families in your community. So if you want to get started with, how did you end up having a home birth with your first? Because let's face it, we know in the birth world that that's really uncommon. Home birth is 20% of births that happen in the UK at the moment, and first-time mums, really tiny. Normally, we in our line of work, we will come across 2nd, 3rd, 4th-time mothers that have had that crap experience, and they're like, no, I'm not doing that again. I need to change the way I'm doing it this time, and that might be a home birth or a free birth, or even maybe in a birth centre, but just coming away from the labour wards and surgery rooms. So if you want to just go straight in with how you ended up doing that.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like anytime I'd mentioned it before, it was like, oh, I'm surprised they let you do that because you're a first-time mum, and
were you allowed?
Literally all of those things. So like I said, without hypnobirthing, I probably wouldn't have even considered it, because I was like everyone else. You thought you just sort of follow the system, what they sort of tell you to do. So at the beginning, when I was first pregnant, I didn't even think about it. It wasn't until it was my sister actually that got me into doing a hypnobirthing course. She kept sort of trying to slightly push it my way, but I was a bit like what most people think, where it's like, oh, I don't think that's a bit of me. I'm not really sure about that, because I think lots of people think it's a bit out there, when really it's actually just really logical and just makes lots of sense. So I think I read a book initially, and once I started reading that book, I was like, hang on a second, I think this is for me, actually, because it just makes so much sense. And that's when I went on to do a hypnobirthing course, and obviously in there they spoke about home birth and obviously about your environment, how important your environment actually is. And that got me thinking, and I was like, my husband doesn't like hospitals anyway. He's a no-go for that. So I was obviously already worried about having to bring him to a hospital, but knowing that he wouldn't cope very well being there. So when we started looking at obviously all our options, and then realising how beneficial a home birth could actually be, that's when I started looking into it, seeing what I needed to do. I was really hesitant on it because so many people are like, oh, I wouldn't do that. So we decided not to tell anyone that we were doing it. The only person who knew was my sister, because I knew that she would be on board. But we knew that if we told other like family and friends and stuff, that's when you get, I know people are doing it from a good place because they're worried about you, but they'll be like, oh, you sure you should do that? And I didn't want any doubt to creep in. So we did it completely under the radar. No one knew. And afterwards, everyone was extremely shocked, that's for sure. But you still got the comments of, oh, you're brave. And I'm like, it all went amazingly smooth and like nothing happened. So it's funny, isn't it, how people see home birth, I think.
Especially that comment of, you're so brave. I could never do that.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, and without any of that birth preparation, I probably would have thought exactly the same thing. Like, oh no, I can't have a home birth. I even thought about a water birth. I was like, oh, I probably won't be able to have one of those for the first time. But why? Like, why did I even think that? But it's just amazing what sort of drummed into you from what you just see, like out and about. So like if you don't do that birth preparation, you miss out on so much, like so much. And luckily I didn't have too much of a fight going for a home birth either, because I thought, again, even within the maternity system, obviously they don't push it, but luckily my community midwife was actually a on-call home birth midwife. Fantastic. So it was actually perfect. She was very obviously encouraging of it. She put me in touch with the team and stuff, and everyone on the home birth team was amazing. So obviously I think they're just sort of built a little bit differently, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. It's incredibly fortunate if you have a great home birth team in your area. I know a lot of areas at the moment don't have that. It's been pulled, which is really, really terrible for the families of women that are having these babies and they want to birth that way. I'm intrigued. So you said it started, your sister was trying to push you towards hypnobirthing.
Yeah,
which I love your sister, by the way. But so the book you read, what was it in the book that made you go, oh, light bulb moment, this actually is something that is for me potentially, or I could plan to do?
I think it was realizing that I could say no to whatever I wanted to. I think you sort of really think, like from what you see in the films and stuff, it's like you just assume that you just sort of float along with what they tell you to do. You trust obviously the professionals, which I'm not saying they don't do a good job, obviously they do. But you forget that they're there for the majority. They're not there for each individual case. But I think it was just understanding that there were so many things. Actually, I've got a lot of control over this. You think lots of people go into birth completely out of control, thinking nothing's in their hands. And I get it, because people think stuff like birth plans, like, oh, there's no point writing a plan because it's never going to go to that. But it's like, it's not about that. There's so much more that you can control, or if things do go on different paths, you can still have control over that as well. It's not just oh dear, this has gone terribly wrong and this is what's happening now. So I think it was that for me. It was just realising actually I had a lot of choice in this, and I didn't think I did at all. Yeah.
I think something you mentioned there just sparked an idea, thought in my mind. People often say you can't really prepare for birth because birth is so unpredictable. We hear it all the time, right? And we'll work with women, families that say, oh, I don't need to really do that much prep because it's so unpredictable anyway. With my first or my second, everything just happened and I just had to go along with the flow. I would argue the case there actually that birth is incredibly predictable. There are only so many routes it can take.
Yeah.
And either way, you're having a baby at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So it is kind of I would say it's very predictable. And the fact that you can find resources such as those books or a group, a course, in person or online, prepares you for the very predictable outcomes, which could be having a baby at home, in water, on land, hospital, birth centres, cesarean. Pretty much all outcomes you can kind of get ready for. And I think that's one thing I love about hypnobirthing. When I looked into it and I started working with a friend of mine, Jess, who's also a hypnobirthing instructor, it became really apparent to me actually that hypnobirthing isn't just breathing.
Yeah.
You're not being hypnotised. The name is very misleading.
Yeah.
You're not being hypnotised. You're not going into some sort of like trance the whole way through your pregnancy to get ready for a birth. it's not just learning certain breaths. Massive part of it, of course, it's great. But it's understanding how the body works, how the hormones play such a huge role, how to protect those hormones. They can play their role, and the environment, like you say, the lighting and the sounds and who's coming in and out of the room. I think that's amazing. And when you can do that through your pregnancy, you absolutely can plan for pretty much all eventualities, really, can't you? It is still unpredictable, I know. Anything can happen, but 9 times out of 10, birth's going to go one way or the other. You know, there's only certain births that you can have, really. Okay, so let's jump forward then. So you've done your hypnobirthing, you're loving it. You're thinking, this is great, and I'm getting it. It resonates with me. How were you preparing in the last few weeks and the last few days going into labour? How was that going?
I spent a lot of my time reading positive birth stories. That for me was one of the key things. And what I did was specifically find first time mum home births as well. I wanted something that was completely relatable to me. So it sort of just set in my mind, like, no, I can do this. Like, this is totally can be done. Like, it's not out there and never going to happen. So yeah, that was my main thing, was positive birth stories every single day. Reading a couple just to keep it going, and all that positive stuff going into your mind is just the best thing. So yeah, that was probably my main thing, and a lot of like affirmations and stuff. I used to listen to positive affirmations before, like I went to sleep and things like that. So just all those positive stuff, just creeping in.
Love it.
Yeah, if I could tell anyone anything, it would be read positive birth stories, and also read positive birth stories on all scenarios as well. So if things do take a turn that you didn't want, well, actually, you can still have a really positive outcome, because there's still so much that can be done. So
absolutely, I love that you've said that, Alex, because people will fall into this trap of scrolling through TikTok, or TikTok's the worst. I really don't like to be there.
I'm not even on it.
I was told you've got to get on there. People are looking for doulas on TikTok, and I'm really not feeling it. It's so many people are abusive on there. It's really weird. It's a really weird place. There's a lot of traumatized adults on there that need to do some healing, that's for sure. But I know a lot of pregnant women will scroll, and I know this because I've got clients that tell me they fall into this. Those last few weeks, especially those last like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, scrolling through, they're seeing all these terrible stories, and they'll send me articles and I've seen this video, and I'm like, whoa. Why are you filling your mind? Why are you doing that? Why are you filling your head with these terrible stories, these terrible outcomes, all these incredibly traumatic births?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. This is where you need to go. You need to change your algorithm. You need to get onto the ones where it's a first time mum or whatever. She might have had lots of babies, and the room is set perfectly, and the baby is born into lovely peace. And then I'll say, well, about this one, this is a C-section, but look how beautiful it was. Look how positive it was. This is what the mum wanted, and that's what she got, and it was great. So I think it's really important. And that's why we're doing this. Because this video that we're doing today, your stories might be one of those positive birth stories that a first time mum sees and goes, that was the one that sparked the idea, early in their pregnancy or even before their pregnancy. Okay, so let's talk through the birth then. So what happened? How did it get started?
It was like pretty textbook, if I'm honest. So literally things started happening. I think it was about 10 o'clock the night before, and this was the night before my due date, may I add. I know due dates were obviously estimates and stuff, but I still thought it was very strange that it was all starting before.
Someone's got to be that 4%, right?
And I didn't know what we were having. We didn't know if we were having a boy or girl, and I literally was like, this has got to be a girl, because only a girl's this organised, right? And I'm a very organised person. So so it was about 10 o'clock the night before. My husband had actually been out, because he has a motorbike, so he was out with like his brothers and stuff, because it was the middle of summer. And I sort of was getting period pains, and I was a bit like, is this anything? But just thought I'd just go with the flow. Don't know what anything is right now. I'm not going to sort of dwell on it. Went to bed, and as soon as I lay down, I was like, okay, things are already starting to ramp up. I couldn't even lay down or go to sleep, but I hadn't mentioned anything to my husband, because I was like, I'm a bit like superstitious. So I'm like, I don't want to say it and then nothing ends up happening. So I didn't tell him. And then I think I got out of bed quite quickly, and it got to about 1:30 in the morning, I think it was, and I was like, okay, I think I need to tell him now, because I think we might need to call a midwife. So I went in and told him, and obviously he was very surprised by me mid-waking him up, sort of thing, like, what is happening? Like, so he had to obviously call the midwife and stuff and let them know. And then the home birth midwife came out to see me. It must have been about 2:30, I think it was. And obviously, being a first-time mum, they assume labour's going to take a while most of the time. So she sort of just left me doing my thing. I had my TENS machine, obviously doing breathing, and I had a pool hired. So my husband said, "Oh, I'm going to go blow up the pool, get it ready, like start filling it and stuff like that." So I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And the midwife said, "She's like, I'll come back." I think it was at 5. She said she'll come back, but if you need me sooner, obviously, just let me know. And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then I obviously didn't really, I had no concept of time whatsoever, but it started to obviously get a bit more intense. And I said to my husband, I'm like, "I think you need to call the midwife now." And it was really strange because she literally pulled up on the driveway. So, and like how fast those hours went as well, because it was already 5 o'clock, but she like turned back up. So it just went by so quickly. So she's arrived. Obviously, we're filling up the pool still. So I'm still upstairs at this point. I haven't made it down. So just in my bedroom, like in my own space with my headphones and TENS machine, and we've also got a dog as well, so obviously he was around as well, so just all my home comforts. And then eventually made it downstairs, obviously, to get in the pool. I think I got in the pool, it must have been about 6:30, and by 7:30 she was here. So it was quite a speedy labour, especially for first-time mums. I know obviously it can take longer, but I could have been having other things go on for a few days that I just hadn't been aware of. But that actual part of me noticing something to her being here was reasonably quick, really. I know people probably think like 10 hours or whatever it is, 12 hours is a really long time, but it actually isn't when you're in that zone. Like, it's amazing how fast it goes.
And it's not uncommon, is it, to hear first time mothers having 24, 36 hour labours?
And that's what I was sort of expecting as well, which I think is why I didn't want to say anything to my husband, because I was like, "Oh, I'm sure I've got a while yet, so it's fine." But so things sped up quite quickly. And so she was here by, I think it was 7:31 she was born. So
fantastic. So can you set the scene? So obviously you've done your hypnobirthing and you were aware of environment, and the sounds and lighting and things like that. Was there anything that you had done specifically to give yourself a good environment to give birth in?
So obviously you had playlists and stuff like that, so music around. Where obviously it was summer and it was the early hours of the morning, it was so bright in our house anyway, so the darkness didn't really. But obviously I think the part before that, obviously where I was labouring upstairs, I was sat in like her bedroom. Obviously didn't know it was her bedroom, but I was sat in her bedroom in the dark and stuff, so I think that really helped. I was just chilled in the dark with music on and stuff like that. But when it actually came to the birth, it was actually a really bright environment. But I think where it was still my house, my comforts,
and natural lighting,
difference. Exactly that. It's not this big spotlight on me or anything. To be honest, it's really funny because first time round, I didn't pay too much attention to all the little pretty things and I think I wanted all of that, but I think where things happened quite quickly, and obviously it sort of fell on my husband to sort everything out, like blowing up the pool, filling it up and stuff, I sort of forgot about those things. And I think where I was at home, maybe not so much of a necessity, whereas when you're in a hospital environment, you want all those smells, you want like your candle lights and things like that. So I think it wasn't as important. But second time round, I actually had a doula, and she did amazing at making everything look pretty as well. So I had and he was also born at night, my second one, so I had the darkness and stuff like that. So I think I had both.
So it would be winter as well for the second one, wouldn't it? Been 5 months now. So with your first, your lovely little girl who's 3 now, right?
3,
So you weren't able to set the scene, but you don't feel like you needed to do that anyway, because you were just at home, you had the comforts and the smells and the sounds that you used to and the people that you used to. Fantastic. And clearly you had the most incredible home birth midwife. I'm so pleased that you did. It really does make a difference, doesn't it? Did you have any pain relief during your labour at all?
So the midwife said to take some paracetamol when she first came to see me, so I took that, and then all I had was a TENS machine, and then I obviously had a water birth, so I got in the pool. But at the time that I was having her, our local hospital actually had a suspension on gas and air, so if you were going to hospital, you couldn't actually have any gas and air because it was something to do with the ventilation. They couldn't actually let people have it. But having a home birth, you could have it. They could bring it with them, so it was available. But to be honest, when I was in the zone, I just didn't think about it, and I had it on my birth plan that I didn't want anything offered to me unless I was saying, actually, no, I need something or I want something. Because I think as soon as someone starts offering you something, you're a bit like, oh, maybe I do need that actually. So I've sort of said, don't mention it to me unless I'm like, no, I want something now or whatever. So I didn't actually use anything.
Amazing. That's fantastic. Well, you're probably using your hypnobirthing without realising.
Yeah, all the breathing techniques and stuff really come in. Like, just all those little things just make a difference.
And that water, isn't it a huge relief? I often see women thinking they can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I want to go to hospital. I want to get an epidural. And I'm like, right, the pool's ready. Do you want to just try and get in?
Like that. Yeah.
And I get in and go, oh my God, why have I waited? This is amazing. Did you find that to be the same for you?
Yeah, definitely. It just makes such a difference. Obviously, the only thing I had was being middle of summer, it was very hot. So getting into a hot pool would make me more hot. But apart from that, yeah, definitely. And I think as well with water birth as well, I'm someone who, I'm not really like an out there sort of person. I don't really like to be exposed. So I found the water was actually a really nice way not to feel exposed as well. So for me, that was like a key thing. You just feel a bit more protected and just, you know what I mean?
When I've been at water births before, I find most of the time the women will get up onto their knees on all fours or holding onto the side. And they'll often ask me, like immediately after or in the days, weeks, whatever afterwards, like, did you see the head coming out? Or, what could you see? And I'm like, I couldn't see anything. Yeah. Because everything's in the water. I can see, I might be able to see your breasts and that's about it. But most of the time they've got like a little bra top on or something like that. Yeah. But even then, they're kind of like just in the water. You don't get to see anything. And I think that's actually a great point for people considering where they'd like to have a baby. When you're on a hospital bed or even on your own bed, land births are amazing, obviously, of course, equally. But if you are worried about being exposed, of course, you can keep yourself covered if you want to. Yeah. You can do that. But consider maybe using the pool at some point because you are almost fully submerged at some point. Yeah. Especially if you lean onto the side and you're on your knees or sitting back, you're kind of very much in the water and no one can see anything, especially if it is in the evening or the curtains are shut, the blinds are shut and it's quite dim in the room. Okay, so that sounds like an incredible birth experience.
It was definitely incredible. And I didn't stop talking about it for weeks.
Oh, good. And I really do encourage you, Alex, to talk about that with everyone. When you're out and about, talk to all the old ladies at the bus stops or, in Tesco's cafe, because they might not have had that wonderful experience. And it's good for them to know that these stories are real and they happen. They don't just happen to the rich people or a certain type of person. It can be for anyone. Okay, so you've had your baby girl. Everything's great. I'm sure postnatal period was bumpy, as it is for everyone. So you fall pregnant again. And what was it about this time that made you say, now I'm going to get a doula? Because you had a great experience.
So this time round, I'd actually moved house. So I was now just out of the catchment area for the home birth team that I was under before. So the hospital that I was then under, they had a home birth team, but it was often suspended. It just wasn't fully established yet. So that made me very, very nervous. And I tried to fight as much as I could to get back under the home birth team that I was under before, but it just couldn't happen. That's when I started looking at a doula. Like you said, obviously I'd experienced the home birth side before, but I thought having someone in my corner to help me, maybe just to push to get someone to come out in that if it happens and they're not available, and just having someone who's obviously attended a lot of births as well, like a lot of experience, having that familiar face as well. If it did end up that I was to end up like going to the hospital, if I decided to go there, it's also having that person that was just the same person. She was there with me the whole time. So the main reason was because I was worried about the home birth team not being available. So that was the thing for me.
Okay. Yeah. So you were prepared to free birth at home with a doula?
So at first I was a bit like, not sure. And then obviously after having sessions with her, she obviously mentioned stuff to me and obviously not pushing me to have that, but just suggesting you could have this option, there's this option, what would you think? Or obviously we could have an ambulance on standby and all these things. And building up to it, I was like, I want to birth at home. That's what I want to do. I know I can do it. I've done it before. That's what I want to do. I don't want to go to hospital. And I think that's what made it harder this time around, as I'd had this experience and now I felt like it was being taken away from me just because that wasn't available. And to be honest, when it came to the time, I don't think I could have cared whether they were there or not. I was just so in my zone and I didn't even think about going to the hospital. That wasn't even an option. I was just, I'm getting in that pool when this is happening. So I think I don't know if would have said I was prepared for a free birth, but I think when it came to it, I definitely would have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened with this labour then? Did that start in the evening as well?
So this one was the complete opposite way around.
Okay.
So this one started in the morning. Again, just started with period pains, and this one was 2 days before my due date. And I told my husband this time, because he said to me, he's like, please don't do that to me again. Can you give me a heads up next time? I was like, okay. So I told him, I was like, just to let you know. Yeah, literally. I was like, just to let you know, I'm having period pains, but I don't know, might not be anything. And he was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And we were having friends come over in the morning. He was like, do you want me to tell them not to come round? I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm just going to carry on my day, just see what happens. Wow. So they came round, and luckily, like, yes, I was having like the odd contraction here and there, but they weren't like regular or anything. So they had no idea that anything was happening. So they went home, and after they went home, things started to sort of ramp up a little bit. And I said to her, I was like, I'm just going to go have a shower and stuff like that. And I was like, I should probably actually let my doula know, just give her a heads up that maybe this is happening. Yeah. So she obviously was aware, and she said, obviously, just carry on what you're doing. Obviously, just let me know when you need me or whatever you need. So it got to, and that's been about 4 o'clock. And like they were coming a lot more regular, so I was like, okay, this is definitely happening. So I called the doula again, spoke to her, and she said, she's like, I would probably put up your pool, start filling up, considering how quick my first labour was. It's a good idea to start doing that. So she got to me about 5, and where obviously we've got our little girl, we weren't sure what to do with her, like, because I liked from my first birth that I didn't have to tell anyone I was in labour. No one knew anything. We just did our thing, and it was like, surprise, she's here. Like, no one had to know. But obviously having a little girl, I was like, I don't know how this is going to pan out. My ideal wasn't, again, not for anyone to know. But because I started obviously having like stronger contractions around like dinner time and bedtime, I was thinking, I don't know how this is going to work. But my sister lives around the corner, so we called my sister to take look after my little girl, which meant that my husband could actually be with me, because otherwise obviously he was taken away to look after her, understandably. So I had my sister in, but I knew she's not one that she's not going to go tell everyone what's going on or anything, and she will keep herself to herself. So so her and the doula, I think they turned up about 5 o'clock, I think it was. We'd obviously been getting in touch with the home birth team to let them know that I was in labour, but they just weren't sending any midwives out. And it's like, no, I think you need to send someone now. But luckily, obviously, the doula dealt with all of that, so my husband just felt a bit of like a weight lifted. He didn't need to worry about any of that. And to be honest, it was really similar. TENS machine, breathing. I think it was Modern Family on the telly for a bit. That's what I was watching. Obviously, my little girl was in and out. Like, she obviously wondered what was happening. I had the big pregnancy ball. And obviously she was very intrigued by the pool going up in the front room. Like,
balls, that looks fun. Can I get in?
But she done really well. But I think having her around, I know a lot of people say like they can either be a distraction or it can actually help you, sort of thing. But I think it was quite nice having her around. I quite enjoyed it, but obviously I knew it would be easier for her to go to bed and things like that. So yeah, just with my TENS machine, breathing. My sister took my little girl up to bed. It must have been about 7. I don't think the midwives had even arrived then. I don't think they had. I don't think the midwives arrived until about 40 minutes before he was born. So she's taken her up to bed, and by the time she's put her down for bed, my little boy was here. She was like, what? Like, how quick have you had a baby? Because she said, she's like, I started to come downstairs and was like, actually, I'm just going to go back upstairs and just wait upstairs for a second. And then, he was born at 8:21, I think it was. So literally the midwives had only turned up about half an hour, 40 minutes before, and he was here. I don't even remember the midwives coming in. I didn't have any conversation with them at all, because obviously I was so in it and so in the zone. I didn't even talk to them until after he was here. But it was amazing, because again, really hands off. Obviously this time around, having the experience of my first, I still had an incredible experience, but there were still things I wanted to change. So like, it was this time I could really choose the things I wanted and knew what I wanted and what I didn't want, if that made sense. But so another incredible birth experience. I feel very, very, I don't know if lucky is the right word, because obviously I did a lot of preparation, did a lot of research and stuff, but
I would never say it's lucky. I would never say lucky, my love, because you did put the work in. I would say somebody was lucky if they had done no preparation whatsoever. So they didn't have a very good home birth midwife like you did the first time round. You didn't have a doula. they hadn't done hypnobirthing or read the books or watched the positive side. They haven't done any of that. You know, like the real standard pregnancies that are happening, you know, in the UK. Just going with the flow, doing what everyone else is doing. If they were then to have a baby at home that sounded like yours, I would say, wow, that's lucky. I wouldn't say it to their face. But that they're the lucky ones.
Yeah.
You actually wanted this, planned for this, set things in motion to get this kind of birth.
Yeah.
And you did. And that's fantastic. Can we talk around your experience of labour, how it feels to you, like physically or emotionally?
I look back on it with like such positivity. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say that it's not intense and it's not hard work. Like, it is. But I think something that stuck with me, like before I obviously had my first little girl, my sister said to me, she's like, instead of seeing it as like a scary thing, you see it as like this grand finale. And I think having that in your mind, like especially whilst you're in labour, it's like, this is actually incredible because you're going to meet your baby right now. Like, this is happening. Yeah, like, so I think having that in your mind, it's just, it really helps you along. Yeah, I look back on the whole thing just like in awe. I just think it's incredible what a woman's body goes through and what you can do, what you can achieve. If you like put your mind to it, I think that's where it is. It's all about mindset. Like, it was intense, it was hard work, but I look back at that and be like, I did that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so pleased for you, because yes, you did do that.
Yeah.
You did get your grand finale twice.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I'm really pleased, and sounds like you did have a great support network. Your sister, your partner, the midwives. I know you didn't think they were going to come out potentially for the second, but you had them. Yeah. And great to know that whoever was communicating with them was doing a great job, whether or not as your doula or your partner or
doula.
They were handling that part so you could handle your part, and that was the biggest job. Let's just birth this baby and you could focus on what you needed to focus on.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fantastic.
And I think with having a doula as well, with having a doula, I think my husband benefited from that too, because it just took so much pressure off of him. He could just focus, whereas I think first time round he spent so much time worrying what to do. I need to do this, I need to do that, whereas they're just there, like, and they just do so much without you even realizing what they're doing. They do so much.
I've had so many people say to me, oh, I'd love a doula, but my partner doesn't really think we need one. I'm like, no, he doesn't think you need one because he doesn't know, he doesn't understand what will be happening on the day. Literally. But that's fine if he doesn't think he needs one. Crack on, and he can do all the things that you need him to do, but all the things that are outside of that as well.
Yes, exactly that.
It is a lot. I think working with a doula, obviously I would say so because I am one. Working with a doula brings a lot of benefits, obviously, and a lot of positivity to your pregnancy and your birth experience, not just for mum.
Yeah,
it's for the partner and also the kids as well. You know, to know that there is someone else there if you need them. To explain what's happening to a 3-year-old or an 8-year-old or whoever you've got, in the home. To feed them, make sure they've got their TV program on, or they've got the laptop in their hand, or whatever, iPad or whatever. Not laptops, iPads, isn't it now? I'm so old. But I think that is a lovely benefit for the whole family. Okay, so what's your biggest takeaway from your home births? If you had a message that you'd like to pass on, what would that be? Consider it.
Don't rule it out, because honestly, like, it was the best decision I made. You could obviously have people have had amazing experiences in hospitals, birth centres, and I'm not taking that away from anyone, but I think preparing for a home birth, you're going to prepare in a different way because you don't have all of these things around. So I think you just think differently, so you'll be way more prepared anyway. So I think if you plan for a home birth, you're going to be ready for most situations. You realise what you can control, what things you can do to make things more homely and stuff like that. So, but I think the main thing is consider it, because I think so many people just rule it out, like, oh no, that's not for me, that's not safe. But if you look at statistics, it's really safe, like, and it is safe for first time mums and second time mums, anyone. But it's just don't rule it out, because
amen,
it's the best thing.
I love that. I say to everybody, what kind of birth are you planning? And they might say, oh, I'm planning a hospital birth, or I might just get another C-section this time, or even first time, I might go for a C-section, terrified of birth. And I say to everyone, okay, if you're going to work with me, we're going to be doing a lot of work on preparing for a home birth. Not because that's what I want you to do, and not because that's what you need to do, but there is a massive chance that you might be doing that.
Yeah.
by accident. So
That's
why
true.
not be prepared,
Yeah,
for all
exactly that.
eventualities, like we spoke about earlier, prepare for everything. And I say to people, and you have to bear in mind that there might not be midwives available.
Yeah.
And, you might be in an area where they don't have any midwives. They might have shut got rid of that system, that set up altogether. So there's no home birth community midwives. It might be that you can't get into a birth centre because they're either too busy or they've closed it for the day, or the midwives from there have had to go into the labour ward. There is a chance that actually you might not have anyone with you, and in your labour, you might say, I'm not going into a hospital, because suddenly your mind says, no, I feel great here, I'm not going, or you're in too much uncomfort or pain to want to get into a car or an ambulance and get into the hospital. So prepare even for a free birth. And when I say that to some people, they go, whoa, no, I would never, I couldn't, it's too dangerous. I need people with me. Yes, but if you don't prepare for it, are you truly preparing for all possible?
Exactly. It's going to be more scary if it happens, if you're less prepared.
The people that I know that have planned hospital births and have ended up going into labour and having super speedy labours at home, they are kind of traumatised by their births. And there was no no bad outcomes. Baby's fine, mum's fine. But it's incredibly traumatic for some people to have a baby at home very fast when they thought they would be in a hospital, because they've done no preparing at all. And that happened to my own sister, and I know she's not necessarily traumatized by it, but it's something that she thinks about a lot. So you've shared the stories, and obviously thank you so much. I love them. I wanted to ask you, did you record any of your births?
So first time round, I didn't even think about it. Annoyingly, it annoys me to this day that I didn't. We had some. Luckily, the midwife just picked up my phone and took some photos. But I didn't even consider it the first time round. So it does annoy me. But second time round, I was like, I want to record it. I want as many photos as possible. And my doula did an amazing job at doing that for me as well. So yes, I do have a video, which I think some people are like, what? Why would you want to watch that back? But honestly, it's just incredible. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah, I would recommend that too.
I think everybody that has recorded it has said to me afterwards that I'm so glad I did. And some people, some parents, mum and dad, find it difficult to watch that back for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But when they do watch it back, they're really grateful that they have it. And
that's the thing, isn't it? You'd rather have it, and then watch it eventually than not have it at all. So definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, thank you so much for sharing your stories with me. I hope that anybody watching this back on YouTube, or I'll share snippets of this on social media as well. I know you've agreed for me to do that, which is great. I hope that even if it's just one mum or one dad, look, here's a part of your story, or why can't I do that if Alex is watching this back, what it is that you're offering to families in the hypnobirthing world?
Sorry, broke up a little bit there, so I think I got the rest of that.
Oh no, sorry. Let people watching this back know what it is that you're offering as a hypnobirthing instructor, whether or not you've got courses in person or online, or whatever it is you're doing.
No worries. So I do, at the moment, I'm doing private one-to-one courses. So that can be in person if you're obviously local to me. I live in West Sussex, so around those sort of areas. Or I can do online as well. I will eventually do group courses, but obviously where I'm currently on maternity leave, my time is a little bit taken up at the moment. So eventually that will be obviously something I'll offer too. But just here to support parents and just, I want everyone to have experiences like I've experienced, because everyone deserves it. They really do.
Absolutely. And your social media, so you're on Instagram, aren't you? And that's Mama Knows Best
Birth.
Mama Knows Best Birth. Okay. I will share that. I will tag that. So if anyone wants to get in contact with you directly, they can. You don't know, someone might message you and just want to ask you some questions about your birth. I don't know.
Even that. If you want to talk about home birth, I'm here to talk about it.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex.